You're watching YurView.
Thank you for joining us. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Hey, great friends. What's happening on a Thursday afternoon? Kaplan and Crew on the radio on 1090, on television, on YurView, Channel 4 San Diego, and in Santa Barbara. So the northernmost part and the southernmost part of the Southern California mega market, right in between Channel 118 in Orange County and in Palos Verdes. Obviously, everybody with us on our YouTube channel, get involved in our chat, give a thumbs up. I'm a 51-year-old grown man with 4 children, and I'm begging people for thumbs up on YouTube. Okay. And for those of you that are listening on audio podcast platforms, whether it's today or it's over the weekend, you're catching up, make sure you tweet me at Scott Kaplan and let me know that you're out there and what you're doing. Let me say good afternoon to this young fella right here, Grande Alejandro, representing the 805, Oxnard's favorite son. Grande, how you feeling now? You know, yesterday we were talking about how sick you were, second shot, Pfizer. You didn't take the Janssen 1 shot. You took the Pfizer 2 shots. And after the second shot, man, you were down and out. How are we feeling?
Back to normal 100%. I would actually say 110%, because that 10% is how much better I feel than people that have not been vaccinated. So that's a saying that people say, I feel 110%. No, I actually am 110%. I'm back to normal. And yes, yesterday, here's what I want to say though. I don't want to discourage people about getting the shot, because I will say that I didn't feel great, but it wasn't like knocked me down. I'm never going to get up. I feel terrible. No, I was just going through every side effect. And it was just better just be sitting on the couch instead of doing a show, you know?
Yeah, and you screwed the whole show up yesterday. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, but I feel better. Does that matter?
No, it feels great. I'm glad.
Should my health be more important than the show?
It is more important. I don't mind that you screwed everything up yesterday. It doesn't matter to me. I don't mind.
And, I mean, you want to go behind the scenes, but, I mean, there was a show on television. There was a show on radio. There was a show on YouTube. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like there wasn't stuff to put on television.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. It's true. I mean, there were just little screw ups along the way, but yes, we love you no matter what. We do.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And we appreciate you busting your ass the way you always do. Hey, say hello to this guy. He's bringing the street cred from the 7 Mile Casino podcast shed, and he's not going to be happy because coming up, Harrison Faigen is the executive editor-in-chief of Silver Screen and Roll, which is a really big, popular Laker website. Mr. Laker hater himself, Big Brown, John Browner in the house.
Man, I love how y'all just trying to address the show in purple and gold. Y'all really doing that? Y'all should we make the 7 Mile Casino logo purple and gold too, or Dodger blue? Which one is it going to be? Pick one. I mean, as long as I know, I can help.
All right. Well, I should call him, instead of calling him Mr. Laker hater, I should call him Mr. Padre lover. Because man, everything is perfect with the Padres, according to John Browner, other than their manager.
True. Facts. All facts. As long as you put that caveat in there, I agree with you.
All right, let me show you yesterday. And look, it's the following day, and the Padres were playing getaway day baseball yesterday. But in the middle of the afternoon, I had the Dodger game on this computer right here. So for those of you that are watching on TV, and I really appreciate all the correspondence with everybody who's watching on TV, people say to me, they go, you look to your right sometimes. What are you looking at? And I actually have a computer monitor here, a TV monitor here, another computer monitor here, and another TV monitor here. So when I'm looking all over the place on TV and it's really distracting and annoying, it's because I'm just looking at all different stuff, you know? Yesterday, I'm watching this Padre game, and a ball gets hit to deep center field. And I'm going, okay, like any major league center fielder is going to be able to make this grab. It's not going to be a spectacular highlight grab, but it is going to rob a home run. And let me show you what happened as the Padres dropped 2 out of 3. Oh, and by the way, real quick, I want to say to the Padre fan base, Browner, you should perk up on this, okay? I want to say this to the Padre fan base. I love the fact that you guys are not all of a sudden saying, hey, well, it's early in the season and it's no big deal. So what? We dropped 2 out of 3 to the Giants. No. Those days are long over with. Okay. In the Padre fan base, Now, you lose 2 out of 3 to a lesser club. This is not Bruce Bochy's 3-time World Series champion Giants. You lose 2 out of 3 at home in the early part of the season to the Giants. Padre fans aren't, oh, hey, it's okay. It's a long season. No, Padre fans are pissed. Like, that cannot happen. And they're right. And it's plays like the one we're about to look at. Grande, roll it in here. That cause losing. Watch this.
As Ruff drives it into center field. Mateo back at the wall. He leaps. It's off his glove and out of here.
I love when Mateo misses the ball and then starts walking back to the grass area of the field, looking around like, what happened here? That is embarrassing, dude. That is terrible. Browner, that was a good play, wasn't it?
That's not why they lost the game, bro. Don't do that. That's not why they lost the game, because they tied the game up. You know what? It's funny that you lead with that. Why didn't you lead with Will Myers being the hero?
Because he wasn't the hero. They lost the game.
Didn't he tie the game up with a home run?
He did.
So why we ain't talking about that?
It's not
But
the
you
story
want
of
to,
the game.
but you want to talk about Trevor Bauer 10 strikeouts though, don't you? I see the direction you going in. But I will aid you with this. This game could have easily been won if it had been managed properly. Once again, we go to the bullpen. We put ourselves in negative situations with our manager's choices. And there's some things as players you just can't avoid. Okay, there's sometimes you just can't get over the manager getting in the way. And that happened yesterday. But again, we will figure this out.
Let me ask you a question.
Please.
Just genuinely curious of what move or who the Padres. So you're blaming Jace Tingler.
That's a good. You know what? You're about to ask a good question. Go ahead.
I believe it was Tim Hill that gave up the run.
You'd be correct.
And it was in this new extra inning rule
where starts on second base.
For whatever reason, baseball is totally against the DH, because we all love watching pitchers hit, but yet they keep this Little League rule of putting a runner on second base in extra innings. So they gave up a sacrifice fly, if I do remember. So the runner started on second, a ground out, he goes over to third, and then a pop-up, it's a sacrifice fly. So Tim Hill gave up that pop-up, never gave up, I believe, one hit. Who would you have pitched instead?
Yeah, well, how did the manager screw this up?
Let me ask y'all a question. We took against the rule.
I like the rule.
I think it's a terrible rule.
I think it's fun.
If you don't have the universal DH, I think it's a terrible rule. You can't. This is the problem with baseball. They never can figure it out properly.
You let him do this to you. You let him.
Wow.
No,
I'm coming back to it.
Because your question was, you say the manager screwed up, and then you presented facts, and the question was, where's the screw up by the manager?
I myself heavily hate the fact that baseball did not allow universal DH. Because it severely impacts the Padres. I think they have players to be the DH and they're not able to use them. But that's why I wanted to come up. I was never going to let him off the hook, because he can't name another pitcher on the bullpen he should have brought in.
First of all, let's be very clear about something. If Alex wants to address my question, he should be allowed to. Scott, don't deflect.
Well, no, you deflected. Deflected by asking a question after he asked you. He asked you a very specific question. How did the manager screw up, and what would you have done that would have been better? And instead, you brought up a question to try and completely deflect the fact that you don't actually have a good answer for what the manager should have done and why you're blaming. You see, you're only blaming the manager. I like the game you're playing. Let me stand up and be the number one Padre supporter in all of town. Okay. And the one thing I'll be critical of is the easy target, the manager.
I'll say this about what happened yesterday.
Okay, go ahead.
If you don't bring in a pitcher with a strikeout at a high strikeout rate, with a high level of missed bats, then you've put yourself in an unfortunate situation, because now we know 2 fly balls can end the game, because that's what happened. So you bring in a contact pitcher as opposed to a guy who has a high strikeout rate, and here we are. Now,
who's the guy you should have brought in?
So listen, man, I'm trying to answer y'all a question. So
why at the same time thinking about a good answer?
I asked the question instead of Tim Hill, who should have Tingler brought in? That's all I'm asking.
That's it. Simple question.
Again,
You want to go to the roster? If I give you the roster,
he already used Weathers. He already used Pomeranz because it was a tie game. He
right?
brought in Melanson to keep the lead, his closer, which is a universally used move in baseball. If you're tied in the 9th inning, you bring in your closer to keep that tie. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just curious who you bring in instead of Tim Hill.
I gotta go down my play sheet.
No. You can't use a roster. You clearly know that Tim Hill's a contact pitcher. You got to tell me if you need a strikeout pitcher, one that does not allow contact, you got to tell me who.
Okay, well, I'll put it like this. I would have brought Weathers in more in that situation rather than
He already
bringing Hill in.
pitched.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I would have saved Weathers later in the game, didn't have put him in at that point where he was in, because I trust the fact that he could have come through in a situation like that with a strikeout when it was needed, as to putting in Hill, who was clearly a contact pitcher. That's all I'm saying, dog. That's all I'm saying.
It's a great answer. It's a great answer, Brown.
Great answer.
It's a great answer, man. It's a great answer, dude.
I mean, but y'all trying to press me like I don't know, bro.
You don't know. You don't know.
This, like I said this before the TV show started. This would be a great baseball season because listen, like Browner's going to blame Jace Tingler for every loss, which is fine. But I'm going to ask you specific questions on okay, so what should you have done there?
And you know what? I'm perfectly. I hope you do. I'm glad that that's your plan, because obviously I have answers. I'm not just pulling this out of the sky, baby.
I know.
These are numbers crunched. I just had to go to my chart. I got a chart. I had to go to it. That's all.
Because I looked at this, not only this game, I looked at the last 4 games, and I don't really have an issue with Tingler's moves yet. I'm not going to yell at him within the first 7 games, but I am going to yell at this offense. This offense has been brutal since Sunday. Brutal. They have 5 extra base hits since Sunday. That's not for a team that I fully expect to be 1-2 with the Dodgers as far as runs scored. It's not acceptable to be doing that to the Giants. You can't only score 2, 3, and 2 against it. And then the Diamondbacks, you only got 1 for this high-powered offense that we're all expecting. I know Tatis isn't there, but you told me it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
It's
a
clearly
huge deal.
Listen,
Tatis wasn't hitting. Tatis hit that home run on Sunday in the 9th when the Padres at the time, I think, were down 3-0. And it was a garbage, nothing solo home run. And if you recall, Tingler came out the next day and said, well, we're hoping that that's going to get Tatis going because he's pressing. You know, the fame, the commercials, the contract, he's pressing. And then he went from pressing to hurt. And then once he's hurt and he's out, that impacts, in my opinion, the entire psyche of a team. You have one player that is supposed to be the face not only of your organization, but of baseball this year. And within the first 5 games of the season, he's already out. And he hadn't been hitting, and the offense wasn't producing. And psychologically, when you lose a player of that magnitude, that's devastating, in my opinion, for a team. But what I love, and here's my last point, Padre fans, good for you. Alex said earlier in the radio show, Scott, maybe you look at the Padres and you've got this, kind of cynical predisposition because of previous front offices. Okay, maybe. But I can tell you this, that the Padre fan base for my 20 years in San Diego has always felt like, aw, they're just our cute little Padres, and they can't spend as much because they don't make as much, and they'll never be able to keep up with the Dodgers because baseball's not fair, big market, small market. Well, guess what? The Padres got super lucky in getting Tatis. He turned into an instant superstar, and the guy is now the face of the franchise for the next 14 years. And when you win and you make it to the postseason, and then you spend, and then you go out and acquire frontline pitching, the fan base says, okay, it's no longer the cute little Padres who can't keep up with the Dodgers. Now it's the Padres who are 1-2 with the Dodgers, and losing at home 2 out of 3 to the Giants, no longer acceptable. And I see hardcore Padre fans in social media saying, no, it's not early in the season. These games matter from the very beginning. And I say that, Padre fans, you hold these dudes accountable.
I agree with that. At the end, your very last statement. You have to keep your expectations the entire way. And I know that Browner says World Series or bust, not my expectations. But when you're playing what I perceive as lower teams than you, which is the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, and the Giants, you need to take those series. Now, obviously, you're not going to win every single series, but you have to expect them to, regardless. Because look at who pitched this week. Yu Darvish and Blake Snell. Those games, when you don't know what's after them, I mean, Musgrove is pretty good, but when you don't know what's after them, Paddock, Morahone, whoever else, you need to win the games that you and Blake pitch for you.
All
This
I was
wasn't a bullpen day. These are the two starters that you need to win both those games. I think every time they go out there, obviously they're not going to be perfect. You need to expect to win those games, regardless of who you're playing.
all I would say is this. There are going to be some games where they come 3 runs, 2 runs, and the pitchers need to do their job and hold serve. But I'm telling you right now, this road trip, we coming back 5-2, heading into the Dodger series right now. Book it, write it down.
I
5
love
and
it.
2.
Good.
You know, the next
5 and
time the
2.
Dodgers come, I believe the capacity at Petco Park can increase to 33% because we're in our orange tier. So the Padres, they'll be even, hopefully, Padre fans there, not Dodger fans there.
Wow.
Well, I don't know. Listen, you say that, but I'll tell you this. People were questioning over the last 3 days when the Giants were here. They're like, so let me get this straight. There's only 10,000 people at Petco Park. Why do there seem to be so many Giants fans? And Giants fans traditionally travel very well to Petco Park.
Very well.
Okay. And I don't know that they're all coming in from the Bay Area. I think a lot of them
live here.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting that there were a lot of Giants fans and there was a lot of Giants noise when there were a very limited number of tickets. But here's the thing, and this gets back to, this is always the way it's been. If you have season tickets and you can sell them for a lot of money, especially early in the
Bingo.
season.
Thank you.
Right. It's early in the season. Everybody wants to go. Giants fans would pay top dollar. So you know what? I went to one, I sold 2. I made my money. And
Economics, baby.
yeah.
Economics. Don't attack my people because we smart with our economics, okay?
Who are your people?
The Padres season ticket holders.
Oh, I didn't know those were your people.
Okay.
Are you a Padres season ticket holder?
We know the economics, and we know that now that we are competitive, it's going to be a long season. We got a long way to go. So if I can get some sucker from San Francisco to come give me 3 times the face value for my ticket because our tickets are so limited now, if I get some clown from LA to come down here and give me 4 times my face value, here, bro, take the ticket.
The CEO of the Padres has previously talked about incentivizing season ticket holders to keep their tickets and to not sell them. Now, I don't know what that means or I don't know what they can possibly do besides, hey, you really want me to turn down $600 for my or whatever it's going to cost to get in? The cheapest ticket right now is $212 on StubHub for that first Dodger game. That's,
yeah.
That's
sell
a
them
lot
too.
of money.
I'd sell them too. Hey, listen, I said this, and we're going to do this every day because I'm going to be scoreboard watching every day. Yesterday, I told you, middle of the day, I had on Padres over here. I had on Dodgers over here. Both games were tied, low scoring, went to extra innings, and both teams from Northern California beat both teams from Southern California. So, Alex, if you could put up on the screen in extra innings, if you could put up on the screen the slide, here we go. Padres and Dodgers. You see the last 3 games for the Padres, they've lost 2 out of 3. For the Dodgers, they won 2 out of 3. And I'm telling you right now, I'm scoreboard watching, I'm standings watching all year long. Dodgers in first at 5-2, had their 5-game winning streak blasted by Oakland. By the way, Dodger fans feel the same way Padre fans do. You shouldn't be losing games to Oakland, just the same way Padre fans feel like the Padres shouldn't be losing games to San Francisco. So, all right, listen, coming up, Harrison Faigen is going to be here. He is the editor-in-chief at silverscreenandroll.com. So we're going to get into a little bit of Lakers today, kind of, sort of.
Is he my boss?
He is, let's see, is he your boss? Well, he runs Silver Screen and Roll, and you have a podcast there.
Look, if I say something unruly on the podcast, he has the power to fire me.
I suppose he does. I suppose he does. Hey, before we get there, I do want to say to everybody, listen, guys, as you're getting a little older, I want to tell you, sometimes you don't feel as good. You don't feel as strong. You're not as active in the bedroom. You're not as interested as you once were. You're not as clear-minded. You're not as motivated. Guys, come to the Total T Clinic. Seriously, 15 minutes. It's all it's going to take. Get your testosterone levels checked. It's all free. Just make an appointment. And then if you need testosterone, we're going to get you onto the right treatment. And I'm telling you right now, you are going to feel 1,000 times better. And then you're going to call me or text me or DM me or whatever else. And you're going to go, Kaplan, thank you very much for helping me out. I never would have thought about testosterone as being my problem, but I felt like you were suggesting and how you were describing it. And now I feel great. So Total T Clinic, TotalTClinic.com. Stop by and say hi to my friend David Alexander. He runs the place. Total T Clinic and TotalTClinic.com. Okay, coming up, I want to talk a little Lakers today for this reason. Suspension, fine, road trip, huge games coming up. I mean, the schedule is just getting harder and harder as the Lakers are on the road. I've become much more interested in the NBA than ever before. I found myself watching Phoenix and Utah last night. You know, I mean,
Damn, that's Browner level basketball.
Dude, when a guy like me is sitting at home with his daughters and said, hey, let's watch a movie, but I wind up watching Phoenix and Utah, that's when you know you got me. Harrison Faigen, the executive editor of Silver Screen and Roll, talking Lakers, coming up next on Kaplan and Crew.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
Kaplan and Crew tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
Arash Markazi here, inviting you to catch my show, The Arash Markazi Show, on the mightier 1090. We are on every Monday through Friday from noon to 1 p.m. Pacific time. Join me and producer extraordinaire G. Hay Wiley, where we chop up Los Angeles sports and try not to piss too many people off.
The all-new and mightier 1090.
Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community.
Hi, I'm Erica Cardenas. Join me on the next Doing More as we celebrate the many accomplishments of women during Women's History Month.
Doing More, Sunday and Monday night on YurView. Sponsored by The Burns Firm, partnering with Shelter to Soldier and saving lives 2 at a time. Visit theburnsfirm.com/shelter to soldier and help save more lives.
Attention, all dogs, cats, horses, tortoises, birds, pigs, and all other pets. Get your family members to sit, stay, and watch Animal Zone every Saturday at 9 p.m. right here on this channel and at animalzone.org.
Tune in Saturdays at 9 p.m. to watch Animal Zone right here on YurView. Let's take it up a notch with Kaplan and Crew tonight's Premium Boost, powered by the mightier 1090.
We are in the hope business. What we do every day and what we've done for 40 years is to provide kids and families going through critical illnesses hope that tomorrow's going to be a better day. My favorite wish is the next one, because that is the power of our organization, is to bring hope to kids who are going through something right now, and hope can't wait. So people can get involved now by donating resources. They can donate in kind. They can donate their time as volunteers. They can donate dollars, because kids are still getting diagnosed with illnesses that qualify for Make-A-Wish every day. So people can visit us online at sandiego.wish.org. They can visit us and follow us on social media. There are so many ways to get connected, and people can help in many, many different ways. We need your support now more than ever, because illness doesn't take a vacation and it doesn't take a break because of COVID-19.
Welcome to the Jacobs & Cushman San Diego Food Bank and our 90,000 square foot facility. We feed 350,000 people every single month. Many people ask, how can I help? You can volunteer for the San Diego Food Bank. Just go to san-diegofoodbank.org, register to volunteer. No group is too small, no group is too large, but those volunteers are integral to our success in feeding the community. Another way you can help is by hosting a food drive. Just go online and register your group, your company, or organization. It's that easy. Another great way is through our virtual food drive, where you can literally buy food on our behalf. Lastly, another great way to make an impact is to go online and make a financial contribution to the San Diego or North County Food Bank. On behalf of the San Diego Food Bank, our staff, our volunteers, and the 350,000 people we serve every month, thank you for helping us fight hunger and feed hope in San Diego County.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's premium boost is powered by the mightier 1090.
Pete Gray here, inviting you to catch my show, Let's Talk Hookup, every Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Time. For over 30 years, we've been the voice of the fishing community for Southern California, and so glad to be back on the big stick.
The all-new and mightier 1090.
We have a term for typical cheese-filled, grease-covered, regret-inducing takeout. That's why dinner from El Pollo Loco is always fire-grilled, freshly prepared, feel-good food. The $20 Familia Dinner from El Pollo Loco.
Are you living in an underserved community and facing adversity? Do you have a desire to start or grow your own business? San Diego State University's Lab and Entrepreneurship Center, the Center for Leadership and Entrepreneurial Studies, and community partners invite you to participate in our Community Bootcamp. The bootcamp provides intense, hands-on exposure to the fundamentals of launching and growing a successful venture. Register today at leadershipcentersw.org.
Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community.
Hi, I'm Erica Cardenas. Join me on the next Doing More as we celebrate the many accomplishments of women during Women's History Month.
Doing More, Sunday and Monday night on YurView. Sponsored by The Barnes Firm, partnering with Shelter to Soldier and saving lives 2 at a time. Visit thebarnesfirm.com/shelter to soldier and help save more lives.
Adios, love handles.
Adios, couch.
Adios, Quarantine 15.
Say adios to the quarantine bod with Pollo Fit Bowls, made with fire-grilled chicken and organic super greens from El Pollo Loco.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
The Padres didn't look too sharp in the field on Wednesday in the series finale against the Giants. San Francisco got the win 3-2 after 10 innings, in part to a few fielding mistakes by the Padres. Manager Jace Tingler said after the loss that he'll be concerned if his team doesn't start cleaning up their performance out in the field, especially because pitching has been lights out. Wednesday, Blake Snell went 5 innings, giving up 2 runs on 2 hits with 8 strikeouts in his second start for the Padres. Fire starters have a 2.88 ERA, which is 8th in the majors, and their bullpen boasts a 1.09 ERA that leads the majors. But their 8 errors out in the field also leads the majors. Additionally, the Padres haven't been hot at the plate, which is another area that they'll be looking to tighten up and get going this weekend as they hit the road on Friday at Globe Life Field against the Rangers. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by YurView.
Attention, all dogs, cats, horses, tortoises, birds, pigs, and all other pets. Get your family members to sit, stay, and watch Animal Zone every Saturday at 9 p.m. right here on this channel and at animalzone.org.
Tune in Saturdays at 9 p.m. to watch Animal Zone right here on YurView.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and YurView, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
All right, everybody, listen, I wanted to talk a little Lakers today because every time me, Grande, and Big Brown talk Lakers, it's always the same thing. Laker lover Alex, Laker hater Browner, and I'm usually somewhere caught in the middle. What are you making a face, Browner? Look at this face. Alex, am I wrong? I mean, put him on screen for a second. Look at this kid. What, Browner?
You mean fact stater about the Lakers. I'm a fact stater.
No.
You are a hater.
No, there's a big difference between facts and Browner's opinions. That's for sure.
Right. But he thinks his opinions are facts as usual.
Right. Well, that's the big difference is that in Browner's head, they are facts.
I went to listen. I went to the Kellyanne Conway School of Facts, so I can make it a fact. I can churn that butter, baby. Y'all better wake up.
Browner, like when he heard alternative facts, he was like, "That's me.
That's my girl. That's my girl."
All right, well, inside the 7 Mile Casino Studios, Kaplan and Crew. And for those of you that are listening on radio, I'm going to introduce our next guest. For those of you that are watching on podcast on YouTube, you'll meet this young man here in a moment. And for those of you tonight that are watching on television, as we're on TV now every night from 7 to 8 p.m., this is Harrison Faigen. He's the editor-in-chief of SilverScreenAndRoll.com, which is like the top SB Nation Lakers website. And I know it's a source of content that I use all the time. Harrison Faigen for the first time on Kaplan and Crew. What's up, Harrison?
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm excited to be here, and I appreciate the kind words about the site, that we are your top Lakers site on SB Nation. I think we're the only one, but we're also the top. So,
well, my top Lakers site for any information, dude. I mean, seriously, I went from not following the NBA for like nearly 20 years to Alex here trying to convince me that the NBA is where it's at. And then when I got onto the radio in LA and they were like, well, we got to talk Lakers all the time. I was like, does Shaq still play for the Lakers? Like, what's up? Phil's still the coach, And so SilverScreenAndRoll.com has been great for me. So thanks, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what we try to be, is like your go-to source for like all Lakers news and analysis, like at volume, and really just dive into what everything means. And so, yeah, I'm glad that we were able to provide that for you.
Now, what's really cool about this is that Alex has been doing a podcast on SilverScreenAndRoll.com for a really long time called Taco Tuesday. And Alex introduced me to you, Harrison. But Alex, are you telling me that you and Harrison, and maybe it's a COVID thing, have never really actually gotten together in a face-to-face kind of situation?
Yeah. I mean, I've never made it up to Staples since I started doing the podcast. And then it's also been, and then COVID for the last, 13 months. Mm-hmm. So I would have no opportunity to go to Staples Center. So I've never actually met Harrison face-to-face.
Okay. No, and we've podcasted before, but literally like never seen each other's face. Like, this is my first time seeing your face. Like, right. we've had multiple conversations for like hours, but yeah.
What did you think he looked like? What did you think he looked like?
I mean, honestly, probably something like this. I don't know. Like,
he sounds like his face.
And I was hoping to be like, you know what? He's a lot more attractive than I thought,
It's better than the alternative.
Yeah. Because listen, there's one guy here in San Diego that everybody knows the name, Hacksaw Hamilton. And the first time I saw Hacksaw's face, I was like, yo, that's what he looks like. So at least it's not that reaction.
I just met a bunch of people the other day that I had never met before that I actually kind of work with in the same way. And they all said to me, you're a lot taller than I thought you would be. And the one guy said to me, what are you, about 6'2", 6'3"? And I'm like, yeah. When I'm not, I'm like maybe with platform shoes, I might get to 6 feet. But I was like, it's not that I'm so tall. It's just that you're so short, dude. That's what it is. So, hey, Harrison, so this is your first time hanging out with us on the show here. And just if you could, tell everybody, as far as SilverScreenAndRoll.com, how does someone like yourself become editor-in-chief of a really, really big content publisher for SB Nation?
Yeah, so I mean, it started like a lot. I started like a lot of bloggers working for like basically for free, like just kind of blogging as like a fun thing. It wasn't really something I was trying to do as my career. And I basically, like at the time I was dropped out of school, I was kind of trying to figure out something that I wanted to do with my life, and ended up, I started writing a little bit for Silver Screen Roll, like once a month, and then it was once a week, and then it was just more and more and more, just blogging from basically the back room in my parents' house, and just writing enough until finally they decided, like it was worth, bringing me on as like, I was an associate editor in chief for a while. And then I left, I went to Lakers Nation. This whole time I was in college, I was also covering the team in person at Staples, doing a daily podcast for Locked On Lakers at the time. And so just basically like sleeping 5 hours a night, just blogging a lot, podcasting a lot. And yeah, that's how I ended up here. I actually ended up, like, I switched my major in college. I was originally a psych major, ended up switching to communications because I thought that a degree would be necessary for this job. And it turned out it was not. I got hired at full-time by Vox a year before graduating. But that was just because I put all this work in and ended up like, covering summer leagues, covering the regular season games at Staples Center and stuff like that. And then I was excited to cover my first playoff run and maybe hit the road. And then, everything else happened and all of that took place in a bubble. And, that's how it is.
Yeah. Hey, that's really cool, man, because I think a lot of people who love listening to sports talk, or they like listening to podcasts, or they like watching the stuff that like we're doing as an example. A lot of these folks go, gosh, I'd love to get into this business, but man, it's too hard, or I didn't go to school for it, or there aren't as many jobs, or it's not as lucrative as it once was, whatever. But you're like a perfect example of just hustle and you'll find your way in if that's your passion, I think.
Yeah, I mean, all of that is true. All of the things that you said is true. Like, there aren't that many jobs. It doesn't always pay that well. Like, it depends on how much you want to work. And I'm also like, I would be lying if I said I wasn't extremely fortunate and like privileged to be able to, take jobs that weren't really paying very much at all, and certainly not enough to live on at the start. And I was able to live with my parents and just kind of go to school and keep working and stuff like that. But, if I had had to support myself, this wouldn't have been possible. So I am really lucky in that respect. But yeah, I mean, you have to get a little bit lucky, and you also have to work really, really hard.
I think what you're saying, the second part of what you're saying is far more true than the first part, because I can relate to what you're saying, because when I started at the company that went out of business, I was literally popping up tents at Einstein Bagels at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, what people do, the part that people don't see is the hard work that you have to put in and a very small amount of pay that you get back. But so you earned the opportunity. Luck is an interesting thing that the word people use. You earned that opportunity. Some people disguise it as luck, but you earned that, because if you hadn't done all those other things, you wouldn't have been recognized, just a guy who walked into the room who wrote a couple of articles. You know what I'm saying? So that don't give luck too much credit, bro. You put that work in, that you got what you got.
You have to work to put yourself in a position to be lucky. Like it all goes together. But I'm just, I want to make sure that I acknowledge my privilege, and that I am, not everyone can, afford to just live with their parents and work like for almost no money for years and stuff like that. Like I was able to. And so I was lucky in that respect, but I still had to go and actually do the work and get, at least, competent at that.
And you had to be good at it too. That helps.
I mean, good is strong, but I do it a lot. So that it's like volume more than, I'm like a volume shooter.
So it's volume rather than quality.
Yeah, I'm like the Nick Young of blogging. Like, I can get a lot of shots up. It's just like, do they all go in? No, but like I can go out there and I can attempt the shots.
Some people like to say quality over quantity. I like that you're a quantity over quality guy. I think that's very funny. We're talking to Harrison Faigen. He's the editor-in-chief of silverscreenandroll.com. Alex has a podcast on the website. It's called Taco Tuesday. And Harrison, I know you also podcast on silverscreenandroll.com. Just real quick before we move into some Laker stuff. How did your passion for the Lakers, though, lead to the blogging, which led to the job that you now have?
Yeah, so I grew up like a diehard Lakers fan. I think it was 2001 when Robert Horry hit that shot in the conference finals to beat the Kings. That was like, I had watched basketball before that, but that was the first game where it was like, oh my God, like this is the greatest sport of all time. I'm never watching anything else. This is my favorite. I remember we were at a hotel in Palm Springs, and I've told this story before, so forgive me, but like me and my two of my three younger brothers, one of them was too young at the time. We all ran out of the room screaming, took our shirts off. We're like, I'm surprised we didn't get banned from the Embassy Suites for life after that shot. And like after that, I was a lifelong fan. Like I kind of went away from it for a little bit because Shaq was my favorite player when he got traded. I was really upset at the team and, you know, kind of walked away from basketball for a little bit. But then once I got into high school, like we had to do these current event projects, basically where we wrote about something in the newspaper every single day. That was one of my teachers' like ideas of homework and stuff. And it ended up basically being a precursor to my journalism career, although I didn't know it at the time because I was like, well, what's easy to write about? Well, I'm going to write about the Lakers game recaps that are in the sports section every single day and stuff like that. So I was, you know, diehard fan, watched basically every single game and never thought that I could do it as a career until, you know, I had hit a wall in my psychology major. I didn't really want to do the research methods, like, you know, like actually executing a study part of it. There's a lot of math in that. And math is not my strong suit. Yeah. No, I mean, I love the results of that stuff. I'm still a huge psychology study nerd. I just do not have the brain to put that stuff together and the patience to like do all the math that's involved and, you know, like all that stuff. So I used my amateur understanding of math to get into something where math is much less important, which is sports writing.
Yeah, we're talking to Harrison Faigen. He's the editor-in-chief of silverscreenandroll.com. For those of you that are Grande Alejandro fans, Grande's got a podcast on silverscreenandroll.com. It's called Taco Tuesday. He breaks down the Lakers. He brings his passion for the Lakers that he himself grew up the same way. By the way, your man here, Alex, I don't know if you know this or not, but there were a lot of things on Twitter that were happening. We were all sending out prayers for Alex. And Harrison, people thought he died yesterday.
Well, Harrison,
how did this happen?
So Harrison knows this too, though, because on Tuesday is when I got the shot, and he was on standby. If I felt like ass, he would have filled in for me on Tuesday. So he knew that I was already a possibility, and I was texting him that night, like, "Yo, I did it. I don't know how good it is, but I did the podcast because I felt pretty okay." And then yesterday came and kicked my ass.
Dude, he took the second Pfizer vaccination at like 4 p.m.-ish on Tuesday, and yesterday was a complete and utter disaster. Like, you've heard the reports about people taking the second vaccination and they get knocked down for a few hours.
Yeah, I know a couple people that's happened to.
That happened to him yesterday, but the difference is this kid never misses work for anything. This is one of these dudes who grew up where, wait, listen, your leg broke and your bones popped out of your leg, but get up and wipe the dirt off and get back in the game. Let's go. That's this dude right here.
But I messed up the whole show.
But
maybe his show. Yeah, our show you were fine. You were like a little bit. I could tell at the end you were tired, but you know, our show you were fine. But I guess this one you showed up looking like death.
No, this show he screwed up really, really big.
Which is why, like, right before we got on, and Scott's like, "Are you sure you're recording?" It's for a reason, because we did a whole interview yesterday. We did a whole interview yesterday with a PGA golfer talking Masters, and I did not hit record.
Oh, dude, God, that's brutal. That's happened to me before. That happened one of my first major interviews when I started podcasting. We had Kobe Carl, who's the coach of the South Bay Lakers. We'd got him to come on, kind of discuss, you know, just like it was big for us to get any guest that was in any way involved with the team at the time. And, you know, he came on, we did like a great 20 minutes. It was really fun. Did not record it at all. So we had to do the worst podcast of all time, which was us just recapping our conversation with Kobe Carl that no one could hear.
All right, Harrison Faigen is here. He's the editor-in-chief of silverscreenandroll.com. So Harrison, let's talk a little bit about the team you cover, and let me define roles here for a quick minute. You got Grande here, who's a Laker lover. You got myself here, who's a Laker observer, and then you got Browner here, who's a Laker hater.
No, I'm a facts.
You're definitely a LeBron hater.
Oh, yes. I'm never going to deny that. No. As a basketball player, 100%. 100%.
All right. He's a Laker hater is what he is.
I mean, I think if you're a LeBron hater, you are a Laker hater at this point. I think like those two kind of go together now.
Yeah, but it's osmosis. I don't have a choice.
So
I
you
love
are a
Anthony
Laker
Davis.
hater.
I
So you
love
are a
Anthony
Laker hater.
Davis. He's from the South. He's from Chicago, just like me. I love Anthony Davis. I got no beef with him. I'm rep him 24/7. I'd buy a jersey if he didn't play for the Lakers, but I can't do it.
Yeah, it's because you're a Laker hater.
Okay, for the sake of conversation, to make this easier for everybody else. Okay, sure, why not?
All right, Harrison Faigen, let me get your opinion on a couple of things today. Earlier in the morning,
and I had a friend on the team who doesn't speak to me anymore because of you, Scott. So
no.
Yeah.
No, Jared Dudley doesn't speak to you anymore because you're a Clipper fan.
Okay, you can go. Sure, that's true too.
Not true?
No, that's not true. That's not why he doesn't speak to me anymore. But
why doesn't
Harrison?
he speak to you anymore?
Jared Dudley used to be a very often guest on this show, but last year, or maybe the last 2 years, when LeBron joined the Lakers, this man over here, John Browner, was our connection to Jared Dudley. Talked so much trash about the Lakers and LeBron that Dudley's like, why would I go on your show anymore?
Makes sense.
You know, look, you might be the first media outlet that Jared Dudley has ever said no to. Then, in that case,
this is true. We broke a record.
And by the way, Dudley's from San Diego, grew up in the exact same neighborhood where my kids all grew up, went to the same schools. I mean, there was a really great connection. He was San Diego's NBA player, and he has completely stopped answering any of our texts. All because of Browner.
Well, look, I'll try it. We can try and get a clip of me praising him or something on this show, and then you could tweet that out, and then maybe you can get him back on.
That's a great idea.
Forget it.
That's a great idea.
Come on, give me a break. All right, listen, Harrison, let me get your opinion on a couple of things here. So start me off with this. The suspension of Talen Horton-Tucker and the fine from Montrezl Harrell. By the way, I think it's hilarious that Montrez got kicked out of the game the other night for sticking up for Dennis Schroeder. He gets fined, but THT gets suspended because he comes off the bench.
Or how about the guy that started the whole thing where he leg dropped Dennis Schroeder? He didn't get suspended.
Yeah, he got the biggest fine of anyone, but it's still only he got 30,000 for that. Like Myers Leonard got 50K for only got 50K for using a racial slur. It's just like the NBA's fine system is way out of whack anyway. Like they're saying that what Harrell did is 40% as bad as what Myers Leonard. I know that there are limits in place, but it all just seems so arbitrary. And this all goes to the culmination, the pinnacle of all that arbitrariness is THT. Yeah, he left the bench, so I kind of expected him to be suspended because letter of the law. But I was watching the clip again today. He does not get anywhere near this fight before he stops. He leaves maybe 4 steps away from the scorer's table area before realizing oh crap, there's a rule that I cannot leave this spot, and kind of hustling back and going back. And it's I get that he stepped onto the court, but he didn't even get near any Raptors player. He instantly realized what he did was wrong and went back and I just feel yes, he violated the letter of the law, but the spirit of the law, he still kind of followed. He realized in his head almost instantly, oh wait, I cannot even go in as a peacekeeper if that's indeed what he was going to do, but didn't get involved. Yeah, the whole thing is weird. I'm amazed that Anunoby did not get suspended at all for this. I understand that he got ejected, but look, Dennis Schroeder, yes, he fouled him hard, but he held him up. He made sure that he didn't get hurt. And I get that he was hugging him and whatever, and maybe Anunoby wanted him off him. The way to get him off of you is not to, execute a WWE move and flip him to the ground. And I don't know. It's just weird that he didn't get suspended and THT did.
What is that face, Browner? Here comes the hater.
So you mean to tell me that little light, what is this? Oh, whoa, that's a dude. Boom. And then try to hold your hands. I go, no. I didn't mean nothing by that. That was baby work right there. That was nothing. THC, listen, he got to be suspended because you will not ever see someone not get suspended for doing that because of what they did to the Suns when Robert Horry knocked Steve Nash into the stanchion. Or the side, whatever that
the scorer's table. Yeah.
And then Amari Stoudemire got suspended, and that was basically the end of the series. So they will never, ever, ever, ever not suspend a guy for that simply because of that. But come on, y'all. Come on now. Montrez should have been suspended. Montrez is a clown. Stop it.
Is that a Laker hater or not?
I would say that's hater. I would that's the verdict there.
I said, just for more reference, Harrison, because you might be lost. In the preseason, when the Clippers play the Lakers back to back, I said an offhand comment. Did you see THT cook Kawhi last night? And he, since that moment, John Browner has officially put THT on his hate list.
Refuses to call him THT.
Yeah, he calls him TMZ.
TMZ, whatever. Yeah.
The funniest part of that whole THT preseason thing was Kawhi was apparently impressed enough that he went over to the Lakers bench and asked how old he was. Like he was, Kawhi, the guy who never talks. Well, that was my favorite bit about that whole preseason thing.
Yeah. Well, before we run out of time, can I ask you? I saw you wrote up that Anthony Davis might be back after this the next 5-game road trip.
Yeah, he might. Mark Stein reported that the Lakers are hopeful he can come back at that point, which is, that's the only real news that we've gotten on him in a while, and so that, that's really good, obviously, for the team.
So, I mean, I just keep thinking to myself, if KD and Harden and that whole team, Kyrie and Blake, if they don't play together, I just find it hard to believe they're going to win a championship. And by the way, I feel the same way about the Lakers. I know that they won last year, but if AD's not 100% and if LeBron's not 100% and they don't get Drummond integrated into what they do, I just find it hard to believe. Now, I may be proven wrong ultimately, but it's super interesting to watch. And for me, the Lakers, they got to get these guys back and get them back 100% healthy. We'll see. If
I think they need to have them 100% or like as close to it as possible going into the playoffs. And they need to get some games in here. Like there's, I think around 20 games left, at some point you're kind of up against the playoff, that like cutoff point of you got to get some games of these guys together to at least warm up. And like, even if you don't win them, you got to treat them like scrimmages and practices so that they can kind of get that on-court chemistry going.
Harrison, to be continued. We look forward to having you back. Thank you very much for the time today. Appreciate it. And everybody should go check out silverscreenandroll.com. Appreciate you, Harrison.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
Kaplan and Crew tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
Catch Kaplan and Crew Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. If you've listened to Scott Kaplan the last 20 years, you know one thing. He likes to stir up some A new generation of radio. The all-new and mightier 1090.
Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community.
Hi, I'm Erica Cardenas. Join me on the next Doing More as we celebrate the many accomplishments of women during Women's History Month.
Doing More, Sunday and Monday night on YurView. Sponsored by The Barnes Firm, partnering with Shelter to Soldier and saving lives 2 at a time. Visit thebarnesfirm.com/shelter to soldier and help save more lives.
Thank you for interviewing with us. Tell me a little something about yourself. What are your greatest strengths?
Well, my differences are my strengths. Those of us with intellectual and developmental disabilities are highly motivated. We are creators. We are leaders and innovators. We are changing the face of work for the better, one customer at a time.
Thank you for sharing that with me. I'm confident that you would make an incredible addition to our team. It is time we start building a workforce that is diverse, inclusive, and equitable. A workforce that recognizes that our greatest strengths lie in our differences.
Join us at deliveringjobs.org.
That's the wrap.
Kaplan and Crew tonight presents Sports in a Minute.
The Masters teed off today, and while the pros are playing one of the most historic courses in Augusta, Georgia, Steel Canyon freshman Anna Davis is beginning to pave her own path in the game out here in the West.
The 15-year-old was 8 under over 9 holes on the par 36 ranch course at Steel Canyon Golf Club last week, which is believed to be the course record, according to course pro Alan Shear. Davis had 6 birdies and an eagle on a par 5 during her round. The freshman is number 1 in the San Diego section season rankings with a negative 1.67 differential.
A big matchup is happening in high school football on Friday night. San Diego section leader Cathedral Catholic visits number 3 Lincoln. Both teams are 3-0 heading into the contest. The player to watch in this game is Dawn's junior running back Lucky Sutton, who has nearly 500 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns in 3 games. I'm Haley Stasiak. That's your sports in a minute. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Rich Eisen here, inviting you to catch my show, The Rich Eisen Show, on our flagship radio station, the Mightier 1090. We're on every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to noon Pacific time. You'll like what you hear. If not, that's just, I guess, too bad.
A new generation of radio. The all-new and mightier 1090.
Are you living in an underserved community and facing adversity? Do you have a desire to start or grow your own business? San Diego State University's Lavin Entrepreneurship Center, the Center for Leadership and Entrepreneurial Studies, and community partners invite you to participate in our Community Bootcamp. The bootcamp provides intense, hands-on exposure to the fundamentals of launching and growing a successful venture. Register today at leadershipcentersw.org.
Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community.
Hi, I'm Erica Cardenas. Join me on the next Doing More as we celebrate the many accomplishments of women during Women's History Month.
Doing More, Sunday and Monday night on YurView. Sponsored by The Burns Firm, partnering with Shelter to Soldier and saving lives 2 at a time. Visit theburnsfirm.com/shelter to soldier and help save more lives. City in Motion is brought to you by McDonald's. Stop by your local participating McDonald's now through April 25th and make a donation, or visit walkforkids.org to support.
Hi, I'm Vince Bryson, CEO of Ronald McDonald House Charities of Southern California. Welcome to the 2020 Virtual Walk for Kids.
Coronavirus pandemic will not stop our show because we are still going to walk for these kids.
You guys want to do the Walk for Kids virtually this year?
Yeah! Today is Walk for Kids, you guys, virtually, so we love it, love it, love it.
Let's get this walk started.
We are going to start, so I'm going to be walking around my backyard.
Doing the 5K walk.
We're here in front of the beautiful Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum.
So we are getting ready to do lap 3.
We're here to send our support.
I love the excitement. I love the energy. Let's keep it going.
If you want to know the reason why I'm walking, it's because I care about the kids and the families that stay at our house.
I walk for the Los Angeles Ronald McDonald House for kids like me, so they can have a place to call their home away from home.
To me, the Ronald McDonald House means love, care, hope, and support.
The families and children of RMHC need our help and support now more than ever. So thank you for joining our virtual walk and continuing to support our Ronald McDonald House even during these difficult times.
Thank you so much for coming together, for showing that we can unite and be together even though we're not at our respective locations.
Thank you for participating in this virtual walk.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for all your help and support, and stay well.
Ronald McDonald House Charities of SoCal gives families with sick kids the best medicine, each other. Stop by your local McDonald's today and make a donation, or visit walkforkids.org to support. City in Motion, highlighting great things in our community like Ronald McDonald House Charities. Give families with sick kids the best medicine, each other. Kaplan and Crew tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
When California weather conditions create a high risk for wildfires, electric companies may shut off power in some neighborhoods as a precaution. These public safety power shutoffs could affect homes and businesses and interrupt power to your home, devices, and even our Cox facilities. During a PSPS, we'll work hard to keep customers connected to their Cox services in conditions that are safe for you, our employees, and our community. For information and updates, follow us on Twitter and visit Cox.com.
Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community.
Hi, I'm Erica Cardenas. Join me on the next Doing More as we celebrate the many accomplishments of women during Women's History Month.
Doing More, Sunday and Monday night on YurView. Sponsored by The Burns Firm, partnering with Shelter to Soldier and saving lives 2 at a time. Visit theburnsfirm.com/shelter to soldier and help save more lives.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio, SoCal Sports Talk.